Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So in today's video we've got a lot of transfer rumours and news to get through, so apologies if it comes across like I'm rushing through. I've just been so busy this week that I haven't been able to cover these topics independently and individually, so it would have been a lot more natural, but there's a lot I need to get through on the transfer front, be it outgoings and incomings as well. But we will cover the incomings or the potential incomings first. Firstly, as I have spoken about in a previous video, it does look like the Jobi Bellingham deal is all but done. There's been a lot of reports suggesting that it's pretty much done. It's done and dusted. He's done his medical, everything. It's just a case of waiting for the club to announce it, which is, it could be at any point. I couldn't tell you. But that part of the deal, that player, seems like it is all but done, which I think is a great start to the transfer window. If it is the case anyway, of course, like I said, there's a lot of rumours and a lot of reports, be it Sky Sports and others, and reputable sources and journalists across social media that have been suggesting that it is all but done, as I say. So it looks like that player will be coming to Sunderland, and as I say, I think that's a great start if it is to be the case. And it's nice and it's refreshing that we're trying to get our, or at least some of our deals done early, because we have famously over the last few years taken our sweet time when it comes to the summer transfer window, and we end up going into the first game of the season with barely any players signed, and you start to slow down a little bit during the opening games because you haven't got your full team together. So it's good to try and get at least, the majority of your, or ideally it'd be nice if you could get the majority of your business done going into pre-season, going into training before the start of the season, so that you can start to get a feel for the club and the squad and get your ideas down to these new players and your systems and tactics and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice to see this. And Christian Speakman did say in a recent podcast that they've already had targets out for a long time now, so that they're trying to capitalise on them as soon as humanly possible. But of course, it's not always the case. You might want to play now, but a team might want to keep all of them until they bring someone else in and all that kind of stuff. But moving on. So it looks like Bellingham could be the first one over the line. But another one is a youngster who is currently playing over in Australia. He goes by the name of, I need to make sure I'm reading this correctly, that's why I'm reading it off my phone. Nectarios Triantis, 20-year-old centre-back, right? So I'm not going to sit here, again with the next player I'm going to go over with as well, I'm exactly the same. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know too much about him, because I don't. I've looked into him, 20-year-old centre-back. I've seen interviews, or an interview from a fan from the team he's currently playing for. I think he's currently playing for the Central Coast Mariners. But I've read an interview, and they're asking him what he thinks about him, what kind of player is he. Apparently he's a big lad, strong. He never shies away from a challenge, which of course I love, and really good with his feet, distributes from the back, and exactly that's us to a T, isn't it? That's what we do. We play it from the back. That's really, really good. And he has gone on to say, I know some people do have really biased and maybe over-exaggerated opinions, but he has even said himself, that this fine, without trying to be as biased as possible, he can see him get into a Premier League level. He just looks that good, and he really did stick out like a sore thumb. And only recently, I think it was in a final over there in Australia they were playing. I'm not going to pretend that I know too much about how the Australian League and competitions work, but apparently he just played in the final, and he completely sort of marked out and just completely nullified the threat of the league's top goal scorer. So he's been really impressive this season. Apparently there has been even Premier League teams looking at him, but it looks like he might be on his way to Sunderland, which I get to an exciting one. It's one of them, we keep going through these because at the moment we look at youth players that you might not have heard of, and then they end up being stars for us, don't they? So hopefully that could be the case as well. So that is another player that has been heavily linked with us, and it looks like it could be a done deal there. Now we have been linked with a striker, Samido. Again, another young lad. I don't really know. I won't pretend I will. I think it's Benfica B he plays for at the moment. Young lad. I think he was only 19 years of age. I've seen compilations of him, and that's about it. I think that's the same as everyone. Plenty of tap-ins, proper poacher. But he also is good with his feet and has a bit of pace about him. Again, if it was one of those players that we've seen plenty of time in the Championship or in the English divisions, or maybe more sort of well-known leagues, then I'd be able to sit here and just say, I like this about him, I like that about him. But these kind of players, they are unknown entities, so it's difficult to get excited until the deal is actually crossed the line. But again, it's one of those where it could be a hidden gem. So Samido, I believe as well, it was in foreign, but someone has screenshotted a conversation. Samido's brother was speaking to someone who asked him on Instagram, like, is this true? Is he come to Sunderland? And the brother essentially said yes, whether that's you know, a concrete thing, you know, the brother might just know that he has spoke with us. I don't know, but so that is all of the incomings at the moment. So a centre back, a striker, and of course Bellingham as well, which would be the ideal start, wouldn't it, to the transfer window? So what do you guys think of those potential signings? Let me know in the comments down below. But now to potential outgoings, which is the scary thing for me this season, because we had so many players who really shone this gone season in our return season to the Championship. So I am terrified that we're going to lose players. Well, that's the thing with this model. I think it's not the sole purpose of it, but it's certainly one of the purposes, because we want to be a stable business as well as a club, and that's just the way that it works. Because sometimes, you know, well, in the past, we've always bought high and sold cheap with players. The amount of times we've bought players in for stupid amounts of money, and we've ended up selling them off for years later on a free, or for, you know, a tenth of the price we paid for them. So now players like, say for example, which I'm going to get onto, Jack Clarke. You know, I can't remember exactly how much we paid for him, but I knew that there was potential increments and add-ons, so it could be a decent figure. But there has been a lot of rumours that Crystal Palace, Brentford, Burnley are all in for Jack Clarke. I think Brentford have only been registered with a bit of interest. Palace, I believe, at the beginning of the week actually put in a 6 million bid, which is obviously, for me, absolutely pathetic. I think if any scout does a proper scouting job on Jack Clarke and watched him at all last season, you know, he's worth a hell of a lot more than that. You know, considering, you know, his age, he's an attacking player in general, which increases the value. He is English, which in the modern day, it's a big thing, and it ups value. And his numbers in general, his goals and his assists and his contributions are absolutely outstanding. So for me, I think anything less than 20 million for me for Jack Clarke, I think would be poor business. But there has been bids, I believe, one from Burnley for 10 million a few days ago, which was rejected, and I believe as of today, another bid of 15 million was also rejected. But I do think that if any team does come in around the 20 million mark, I think the club will find it incredibly difficult to say no to that. I really do. And I almost wouldn't blame them, but I also want to see our best players stay, which is only natural. And I love Jack Clarke to stay and grow with us as the team starts to evolve around him as well. But yeah, so apparently that is the case. So 15 million. What would you guys say? So what would you guys say about Jack Clarke? Would you say, you know, whatever the cost, don't accept an offer, or where do you guys stand? Where would you say is a fair valuation of Jack Clarke? But anyway, the last part of the video, the last piece, is surrounding Anthony Patterson. We do believe that both Wolves and Leicester are interested. Again, as for Wolves, should I say, I believe it's just a registered interest. There hasn't been any offers or anything like that. But I believe Leicester have made a concrete offer, to which Patterson has said to the club, I don't want to leave, which is fantastic if that is the case, because again, Patterson is someone who improved drastically, particularly over the last couple of seasons, and I would love to see him grow with the club another month, because he is a youngster, he has loads of potential, room for improvement, yeah, but he's already a very, very good standing goalkeeper, and he's proved that he can do a job in the Championship, so I'd love to see him stay. If that is the case, then absolutely fantastic. But that is absolutely everything. Again, guys, I do apologise that if it does come across that I've rushed, but like I say, there's so much there to bite into. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about everything we have covered in today's video. If you have enjoyed, hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the SUNDERLAND army. But for now, take care and stay jammy.